let's jump into a conversation though with John in Canada, who wants to talk about the 10 Commandments. John, what can you tell us?
How many are there?
No, man. 10.
Okay.
I can list them all for you. However, I will tell you that 10 Commandments are the ultimate proof because they're absolutely necessary for society to function.
I would push back on that, but let's get really to the meat of your claim. Is it true that you believe that the 10 Commandments prove the existence of, I'm assuming, the Christian Abrahamic God? Is that your claim?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know? What makes you believe that? What can you tell us?
Because they work. That the entire Western civilization was based on it, gentlemen.
We already have one gigantic claim when you say that they work. The notion that all of Western civilization was based on them is just not true, and I don't even want to really waste a lot of time with it. Let's talk about why you think the 10 Commandments work. What does it mean for a list of laws to work? Does that mean that we see social cohesion? Does that mean that we see a very small or limited or non-existent amount of social distress? Did the 10 Commandments eradicate things like rape and murder and slavery and other social ills? What does it mean for the 10 Commandments to work?
10 Commandments do work because it did eliminate slavery. Because of the 10 Commandments,
the 10 Commandments eradicated slavery?
Yeah.
They literally don't.
They very much do not. And slavery lasted for quite a long time after the 10 Commandments were written. Even if we grant you that Moses and or Charlton Heston carried down some 10 commandments from the mountaintop, all of that would have happened quite a few thousand years before slavery was eradicated in the United States, and slavery hasn't even been sufficiently eradicated in the United States, let alone around the world.
Yeah.
How can you tell me that the 10 Commandments eradicated slavery? What do you mean?
Because, think about it, gentlemen, Abraham Lincoln and the soldiers of the Union forces were Christians and using the Bible.
So was
every
son of Dixie. So was every son of Dixie, and their argument for the continuation of slavery in the United States was based on the Bible, was that black people were the descendants of Ham.
In case you haven't noticed, but black people are free in the United States.
Yes, I'm very glad that they are. I'm not arguing. Let me make that clear. I'm not arguing in favor of slavery. I'm just pointing out that slavery did not become illegal in the United States because it says in the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not own slaves. It doesn't say that in the 10 Commandments. It doesn't say that anywhere in the Bible. In fact, it provides the proper conditions under which you may own and punish your slaves.
If the Bible didn't exist, the Civil War never would have been fought, and that slavery would still exist in your country. That's my proof.
I mean, if the Bible didn't exist, a lot of things would be very, very different.
Be a very alternate history. Who knows whether a non-Christian Europe would have traveled across the sea to capture land in the way that it did. We're into a very alternate history at that point.
Yeah, John, I would love for you to take another big swing and maybe give us something to jump into. But if we're just going to kind of bat around these really ridiculous ideas, we have some wonderful callers on the line I'd love to talk to. So, John, let me give you one more chance to really wow me with a provable or at least well-argued idea.
You guys are always doubting colonialism that never should have happened, but you're living under colonialism. The United States wouldn't exist if it didn't exist.
Who brought up colonialism, John? What are we doing here?
I referred to it briefly in my explanation. So, John, let me see if I can redirect this call back to what your point was that the 10 Commandments work and presumably a society can't exist without them, right? Without being based on them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Does society exist in the Eastern world? Because you said that it's the basis of Western civilization. Do you believe that the Bible was the basis of Eastern civilization?
Pardon me?
Eastern civilization, China.
Christianity exists everywhere, gentlemen. exists
It does,
everywhere.
but is Christianity, were the Ten Commandments the basis for Chinese society?
Christianity exists everywhere. That's my point. Even if it's not exactly
Okay,
what
so I think
based on the same
I think the existence of China, even before the introduction of Christianity, and its success in civilization terms before then, demonstrates that a civilization can form without the Ten Commandments.
Yes, it's impossible to have any kind of commandments without society. You guys are trying to get rid of it, but you need rules and
Well,
regulations.
okay, I'm not trying to eliminate the concept of rules and regulations. I'm just trying to have a conversation about whether or not having the Ten Commandments as the foundation for a society is necessary, and whether or not that therefore means that the Abrahamic God is Yahweh, God, no other gods before him. Because I think you can see, if you look to the East, you can found societies on Confucian ethics without reference to an external divine Abrahamic God.
Gentlemen, you don't want to live in China because it's a communist state.
I don't want to live in China. That's correct. But the basis of Chinese civilization was also not based on communism initially.
Yes, it was.
Well, it was initially Confucian ethics, and before Mao and the Communist Revolution, it wasn't communist. It is now. Now I'm right there with you. China is a communist country. Asterisk for all of my communist friends that are going to say, no, it doesn't count because it's not working or whatever. But no, I don't want to live in communist China. But I would like to point out that the basis of China, even before it was communist, was not the Ten Commandments.
Gentlemen, it was the Europeans who brought civilization. The Europeans who brought the sentiment of civilization.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, there wasn't civilization in. Am I understanding you correctly in that you are saying that civilization didn't exist in China before Europeans brought it? Is that what you're saying?
It existed, but it wasn't as good as it was before.
Okay, so
the very country that you're living in was made better by Europeans.
Okay, but
that's exactly what happened. Before that, there was.
I think there's some First Nation people that might quibble over the word "better," but without really getting into all of that.
I thought he was saying that China was made better by European.
You said the very nation we're living in, but I'll tell you what, Jamie, we have some really lovely calls in the queues that I'm just chomping at the bit for. Do you want to stay here?
Well, I think we should give them all their fair shake. John, I would love for you to call back in and for us to have a conversation about the history of civilization around the world as it relates to Christians traveling to various places and affecting...
And the betterment of those societies for having had those experiences and how universal that idea is and in no way controversial or disprovable.
Yes.
That might be something to investigate just a little bit there, John. But we do appreciate your kindness in having these conversations. We do appreciate you watching and listening.
Yeah.
Keep reading, keep thinking. Maybe put it in an email. I would love to maybe have this discussion with you in that way.
And no animosity to you as an individual,
although maybe some of those ideas should be
are not.